Well, I'm joined now by Howard Lutnick. He's co-chair of the Trump Vance transition team and the CEO of Cantor Fitzgerald. Thanks for being with us on BBC News.
Fun to be here.
Thank you. Well, first of all, how is Senator JD Vance? You've been with him over the weekend, helping him prepare for tonight.
So he is just a really, really smart fellow. You know, he drove himself at Yale Law School. I mean, he didn't have parents who were watching him, not sending his grades home. So he's driven by himself, and you're going to see an incredibly capable, smart person out there tonight, and very impressive.
Give us a little bit of the behind the scenes. What were you doing in the debate preparation? How were you helping him?
Well, we're asking him questions and sort of showing how he can get his points across with the questions that are coming, because he knows the points he wants to make. He knows the economic policy. He knows the workers. He understands what we need to do. And so the idea is just to make sure you're fully getting your points across. You know how to do it. You know how to say it. And really, he is just an incredibly capable person. And he's only 40 years of age. So he's got stamina, he's got power, and he's world-class smarts.
We know the economy is a really big issue for voters. It's the number one issue for almost all voters. What's he hoping to say tonight? Who is he hoping to speak to with that message?
Well, you just had the Fed cut interest rates in America 50 basis points. So the data that they're seeing is showing a weaker economy than we're all feeling. So, you know, it's worrisome when the Fed says, hey, you know, I'm going to move much faster than I thought. So that's number one. Number two, you've got American workers, right? They're just not feeling the love, because there's 2/3 of Americans' workforce have a high school education, and 1/3 went to college. And the 2/3 who have high school education, they don't have the backing of the government. The factories have left. So the economic policy of Donald Trump, driving down the tax rate, bringing manufacturing back to the United States, saying if you don't bring it back, I'm going to put tariffs on, are going to create jobs for the American workforce. And I think that is a driving force of the Trump-Vance ticket, is bring American workers back up, take care of them. Don't let the government just sort of leave them behind.
Well, we have port workers out on strike as this debate is happening tonight. What would JD Vance and Donald Trump do to help those folks?
He's going to sit down with them and figure out what do they need and how are they going to do it, right? That's the point. What the government is supposed to do is they're supposed to engage with them, get involved, and help make it better, right? This is our supply chain. We need the supply chain in America to work, and it's engagement. You have to be able to have a press conference. I mean, you got war in the Middle East, right? Escalating. You've got a hurricane on the East Coast. You've got strikes everywhere, and you're not holding press conferences. I mean, I think Kamala Harris needs to have press conferences. She needs to answer questions. She needs to show people that she's capable of it, because you can't just hide. Donald Trump, fearless. He's going to be out there answering questions all the time. JD Vance, fearless, answering questions all the time. I think the U.S. should require Kamala Harris to answer questions and get out there and talk about it. Don't hide. Don't do like this ridiculous sort of press photo in a plane without her earpiece.
They would say that because Kamala Harris is in the administration, that today she's, doing the job of the vice president. That's why she wasn't holding a press conference. But you mentioned tax cuts there a moment ago. We just had Jamie Harrison, the chairperson of the DNC, here before you in that chair, and he was talking about the Donald Trump tax cuts as being only for the really rich, benefiting millionaires and billionaires, and not doing anything for the common person. What would you say to that?
I'll take out a calculator. Just take out a calculator. So the tax cuts that he did in 2017 have dramatically grown the government, dramatically increased the benefits of America, and primarily cut taxes. My taxes went up. The real people's taxes went down.
You're a CEO.
Right, but they went up. My taxes went up. So this concept of, they lowered the taxes on people, it's just not true. And I can't stand when they do things like that, where they just sort of fib away and make up nonsense. The key is on corporate taxes, as an example. It seems like if you raise the corporate tax, you're just taxing a company. What are companies made of? Factories of people producing. You raise the tax in America, they just go to Ireland. Right? We know, you see the surplus in Ireland, right? You guys were just reporting it this morning, that the massive surplus in Ireland. Why? Because they have 11% corporate tax rate. So everybody goes to Ireland, and there are 5 million people flush with cash, right? And we want a 28% tax.
I am Irish. I'm from Ireland, and I will say it's not 5 million people flush with cash, but I see the point that you are trying to make there. Who is JD Vance trying to speak to tonight, though? I mean, we know this campaign is so close, margin of error between the two candidates in those key states that matters. What's a win tonight for JD Vance?
He is a young man who came from a hard scrabble background, okay? He had an alcoholic mother, was raised by his grandmother, right? He lived that workforce life. He knows the workforce life. He's not talking about it, he is it. And he's talking to those people, and he's always said, even from the beginning, I am going to support you. I'm going to help you. He's the key part of the drive that says we've got to bring the factories back. We've got to open the mines. We've got to drill. Why do we have to help our farmers? We've got to go for the workforce. And I think what you're going to see this election is you're going to see union workers voting for Donald Trump and JD Vance because they know actually it's the Republican Party that's focused on the workforce because we don't make batteries for electric cars. I mean, the Democrats want us all to drive electric cars. Who makes the batteries for electric cars? China makes them. You know how they get the rare earths out? They use coal and strip mining to make electric batteries that they sell here and in Europe. It's just not right. There's something wrong with that picture. We need gas prices lower, and we need to drive jobs for our workers.
Okay, but Donald Trump hasn't earned the endorsements of many of the trade unions, though, we have to say. But you're saying union...
Take a look.
Rank and file, you feel, are going to vote for him regardless of the leadership endorsement.
There was an amazing thing with the Teamsters. They sent out, like before they endorsed for the first time, they sent out sort of a poll of the Teamsters Union, the classic auto workers Teamster Union. 60% said they supported Donald Trump. So what happened is the union bosses couldn't do the normal Democratic thing because they're rank and file people. The people in the union like Donald Trump.
We'll wait to see what happens. Anyway, Howard Lutnick, co-chair of the Trump Vance transition team, thanks indeed for joining us on BBC News.
Really fun being here with you.